Kenny Harold Gardening Simplified. It's November 22nd, and I'm going to do a garden update. Yes, it's November 22nd. It's about 38 degrees now. It was a little bit colder earlier. Sun's starting to come on the garden. As you notice, the end of the greenhouse is closed. And yes, there's a lot of green stuff growing in the garden, and we're going to take a tour. Let's start out up here at the Victory Garden. We have some little radishes going on, and looks like we had a little bit of wind, decided to bring a branch in there to them. These are French breakfast. They're starting to put on radishes. They're maybe a week away from me harvesting them, so it won't be none in the market tomorrow, but hopefully it won't be long. Our cilantro, well, you can see this definitely it's past going to the market. I plan to take it out. We've getting seed top, so now we can call it coriander. But it's produced good. If you look at it, it puts on these beautiful little blooms, which any little pollinators need to be out here collecting. They'll have some kind of flower, not much of one. And our red cabbage, these are newest ones. They're doing good. They definitely need to be weeded. This deal here, we've been harvesting it for a while. As you can see, a lot of them putting up seed tops. Now, a lot of people like the flower tops, so I do got a few of them, but it's getting towards the end of its life. These cold temperatures will affect it a little bit, but it will hang in there. We have some cabbages. These are probably a week or two away from being picked. Over here, this is early Jersey. And we have a couple more there. Now our peppers, we did harvest a few bell peppers, but this week will probably be the last week we take any to the market. They just aren't doing good. Now they are still trying to flower on some of these, but they're definitely, because the getting close to the winter solstice and the sun staying so far towards the south, they're not getting near enough light. They like it a lot of light. Our peas are doing good. She's been harvesting a few of these. They're not heavily producing. In fact, these look like they're starting to yellow, possibly end up the end of their life. Now our onions, these were our little bitty onions we put out. Now we had planned to just put them 6 inches apart, and some of them are, but a lot of them's 3 inches, and we'll come in here and thin later on. But we had a bunch of extras in the few that we were planning to plant to finish this row, so we just stuck them in the middle between each one, and we'll just pull them for green onion. Now we do have some spinach coming up here, and it'll be kind of slow to grow. It's a little spotty, but it's all right. Some still germinating, so it'll be a little further behind. But we will have a little bit of spinach coming on. Our older onions that's down here that were put in earlier, they're doing well. And then right here we have beets coming up. So these won't be long. I like to grow a lot of the root vegetables in the winter. They're always sweeter. Now we do have a bunch of seed that germinated coming back. We're going to have to re-clear this row. This is where I moved some of the turmeric whenever I harvested it. Hopefully it'll do good. Now in our little greenhouse, and these leaves just tend to blow, but this is our blues cabbage. It's doing good. It's probably 3-4 weeks away from going to the market. Now we do have some leaf lettuce here, and we have some butter crunch right there, and then a little romaine at the end. And we have one of our red varieties of leaf lettuce here, along with our red romaine, which last update it wasn't really turning red, but you can see as it gets older the leaves turn red. And this is a lot of romaine, but there is an oddball in there. Well, a couple of oddballs, because you always get that odd seed. Now, we did harvest some of this for salad. This was a red leaf lettuce. And this one here, I'm not sure what variety that is, if it's an arugula or what, but it'll end up being pulled out. But that's kind of the way it goes. We're cleared out here, and if you remember, we had our citrus sitting down this side of the greenhouse. We have moved that inside. We still haven't got our new greenhouse set up, and we do have return of some weeds over here. So what we'll end up doing is coming through here, pick the big ones, and use the stir hoe to stir the rest. Maybe we'll stir some more seeds in, and we'll slowly get that back into a norm. Our asparagus, it's at the point we might start cutting all this out and go ahead and rejuvenate this bed. It's definitely dying back. There are a few new sprouts that come up, but we might just clean all that out because it does look like it's pretty much dying out. Back over here, we have this is our collards right in here. They're still young. They're probably about 3-4 weeks away from being harvested. Our garlic is doing excellent. All three varieties. We've got real good germination. There are a few spots where some of the cloves did not come up yet. I haven't give up on them. I have seen here and there some that are slow to go. This youngest broccoli here, it's doing real good. And we have a little filter kraut out here. This is the same age as the stuff in the greenhouse, but you'll see that in the greenhouse is much bigger because these were left in the seed trays, and I figured I'd go ahead and give them a chance. I had plenty of room. And then we have, I have to take a look. Oh, this is one variety of, well, I say one variety. This is cauliflower. Some of these plants are really small putting out, and they're starting to come on, but they'll be slow to grow because of our light levels. But like I say, this garlic, it's just looking fabulous. Just a few holes in there. This is the way I like it to look this time of year. Now our herbs, we're going to have to start doing some cleaning up here, cutting back. We've got oregano. It's actually trying to get across to the other row. We'll probably pot some of these up, get them established good, take them to the market. Our turmeric is almost getting to the time we'll do some harvesting on it. It's this cold spell now, this last couple of days, it was 35 yesterday. So it ought to be doing good. We have cleaned out where our basil was in here. Of course, it did reseed. We have a lot of little basil coming back. There's one that's a little older than the rest. It's doing good. We'll take and clean up down here. Or yarrow, it's got good seed tops. We might try to save a few seeds, but what we'll probably do is just break these up, shake them into this area, and let them come back. It's easy enough to tell a lot of these plants from the others. Our other herbs over here, they're doing good. I keep trying to figure out what this is, and I think this is a mulberry. The leaves look the same as the Roselle hibiscus, but the Roselle hibiscus has a purple stem, so I can say that it's definitely not, even though the leaves looks like that. But our lemon balm is doing great. Our catnip, it's time to cut it back again, and it'll kind of like this cool weather, and it'll come back. Now we got some fences here because we pulled out our cucumbers. We're fixing to take out the okra. It is giving a few pods, but we're not far off from taking it out. We're going to do harvesting today, so we've got the wagons out here. These peas are looking better than the other ones. Now these did get more water because I hand watered them when I was watering in these other crops. But there are a lot of pods on there, and they don't mind this cold weather. Now this right here is a little bit of kale. We might get a bunch to eat. We'll take out the rest of this mustard today for the market. We've been thinning on our turnips, taking out. We've got one little batch at the end, and we might eat those. I don't think it's enough to bundle for the market. But you can see we've left plants. We've thinned them to about 4 to 6 inches, and we try to pick the better ones. So we'll let these grow up into turnips. But this is all we have that's not been thinned, so there's not much. You can see we're heavy weed pressure down here by the side. This fence row, as you can see, it was all kind of draped over, and that's what gets the end of these beds real bad. We'll have to clean it up. This is our youngest Mitchell-Healy. It's coming on, and occasionally you can see. Now I'm guessing that's some kind of cross between Mitchell-Healy because it's darker and the leaves are just slightly different. These peppers here, now we did pick a few for the market. We had planned to take them out. They're putting on small peppers, but they're not blooming anymore, so whatever they've got is probably going to be it. Our bok choy over here, it's getting close, probably a couple weeks off. And our next batch of dill over there, it's coming on. It'll be ready to harvest here in a couple weeks. So with that other dying out, we'll have it. And then this is our next batch of cilantro. So it's going to be a little bit before we have cilantro ready again. As we come over here, we cleaned out our echinacea, our purple coneflower. We've cleaned up that bed. We do have some of our chamomile. It always germinates early. We have little plants coming up and weeds, so it's just going to kind of have to weed between it and get it going. Right here, our carrots are doing good. They are just a little thick in some places, but we'll thin those out. And this is the next batch of cilantro that's coming behind. We've got a few onions that we left that weren't quite big enough. We'll pick them as we want green onions and do that. We've got a little empty bed here too, so it's going to be, probably put some more radishes in right there. As we come into our big greenhouse, and I didn't close it up last night, just about everything in here can handle the weather and the situation. Now we do have some red cabbage here. We have some more early Jersey in here. More red cabbage. And we have Mitchell-Healy. We've been harvesting this out, taking it to the market. Have a few broccolis stuck in here. Some more Mitchell-Healy stuck in there. We have some bok choy. We'll be harvesting this. And we harvest some for the chickens. Once it starts to bolt to flower, we go ahead and pull it for the chickens. That's their treat. Right here's our next batch of cilantro. And I need to do something with my leek here. I'm going to go ahead and get those and plant them. They don't like being bunched up in that. Once they get the roots all contained in there, you can see they're going to come out the bottom. They are really, I didn't expect germination to be so high, so they're kind of in there thick. Right here, we have some rutabagas. I had planted them in the seed tray so I can take and set these out, and they're about to the age I don't have to worry about the weeds outgrowing them, so we'll get these in the ground and get them going. Our filter kraut is doing good. We do have a little bit of bug pressure. We've been trying to keep an eye on it. I think I've got it under control. Here's all our citrus that was outside, and we moved the ones that was inside. We've got limes. These limes are definitely ready. Once they turn yellow, they're quite a bit sweeter. The lemons are ripening up. This is the improved Meyer lemon, and they're getting close. We'll let them get good and ripe. And here's our broccoli that's coming on behind that. It is a little bit leggy, which is common when it's in the greenhouse with the shade cloth, so that's not a problem. Now we have more lemons. These are definitely not far off from picking. In fact, this one here, of course it could be, but when they start to get a little bit of an orange tint to them, that's when they're ready. Now our oranges are ripening, but they've got a little bit to go. They're starting to turn orange, but they've still got some green on them, so we'll let them go a while longer. We have our banana pups in here. They're doing just fine. We have a sweet potato here. This was our Covington that we dug some when we found out our water wasn't watering them good, and it was just a little bitty old string bean of a sweet potatoes. We just took those roots and potted them up, and we've got 2 or 3 of them that germinated. What we'll do is we'll keep coming back, and we'll just cut these back. In fact, we'll probably take them in and out of the greenhouse depending on temperatures. It's looking like we're not going to have a freeze until first week in December, so that'll be good. Maybe it'll give us time for these bananas to ripen up there. Those are doing good. Now this batch here I don't think is going to make it to term, but we'll see. We'll let them go. Over here we have our cauliflower. Now this should just be starting heads maybe. We have some cabbage. Now we've been harvesting out of this row, so we've got a whole lot of empty spots. We have some more broccoli in here. This one had a head big enough to harvest, and we've got some that's starting, some that's a little bit bigger, but we've been harvesting that. The parsley looks really nice. Our lawsonata kale, or dinosaur kale, it's doing okay. We've been letting it grow a little longer. We could have harvested this week, but we're going to wait and do it next week. The leek that's in the greenhouse, it's looking pretty good. To me, it's just a little bit pale. It might not hurt for me to come back and dose this with some fish emulsion or something. Give it a little extra nitrogen. Our red cabbage is starting to form pretty good heads. I mean, it's still just a little bit small, but won't be long. We'll be able to pick one of those and eat them. And here's some more broccoli coming on. Won't be long. It'll start to hit. Now this was our first broccoli, and we've been cutting side shoots off of this. We cut some off today. You can see where it formed little bitty heads or the side shoots on there, and then we take and we'll harvest them. Normally they shoot up a whole lot more quicker, but being in the reduced light, they don't do quite as well. Now down here at the Roselle area, now we've taken out our yellow scorpions and our habaneros. We have our globe artichokes. They still survived even though they're not blooming, and hopefully maybe they'll bloom next year. They were put in just a little bit late. We'll do some cleaning up here. They've been draped over, especially these two with all this roselle where it's come out. We're starting to cut this out. We did our last harvest yesterday, and we're going to take all these out. And it is kind of a chore because when you have a base that's 3, 4, or 5 inches across in 1 year's growth, it really takes over. And it's really hard to take out. We do have, there's actually a row of blueberries over here. And hopefully we've got some that'll come back. They've really had a hard time with the issues of that roselle. Our apple trees from seed are doing good. The plan is this year we're going to do things a little bit different because we've had an issue with these wanting to lean over. You can see that one's kind of leaning, and we'll try to pull it back whenever it's a little bit damper conditions. But what we're going to do is, because this issue is caused by this row cover fabric, and the same thing with this tree and this row cover fabric. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both of these out, come in and compost these areas, and this is where we're going to plant our sweet potatoes next year. So they'll give good undercover to the apple trees. They should be done and dug by the time we need to harvest apples, if we have apples next year. We're definitely going to heavy prune these. We've got a whole lot of inner growth and stuff, and we're going to try to spread some of these limbs at the same time. It's going to be a little bit more of an effort. We do have one volunteer pepper down here, and we haven't harvested any off of this. This is a shishito, and it probably wouldn't hurt to harvest just a few, take to the market, because we're going to take this plant out. And of course we've got a whole lot of cleaning up on the edge to do. But we've got a lot of empty beds here where we've taken out all our cucumbers and our peppers that was down here. We have a clump of, that's our super sweet 100s, and they're not producing. So, and the plans are, they do have little tomatoes, but they just, something gets them, either leaf foot bugs or something. So we're not getting any production off of it. We have one hatch green chili that I've left here. It is putting on a little chilies, and it might do better once that's out, but it won't be long. It'll be gone too. These were our sweet bananas. Now we did harvest some. We've got just a few on there, but if we don't We may have some next week, but chances are we probably won't. The few that she harvested is she's eaten, so there's none going to go to the market this week. And the intent was to take them out. But anyway, that's where we're sitting. Now, we've tried harvesting some of our sweet potatoes. Our intent is to get down there and harvest the rest, but the harvest is bad. I will do a video on that and let you know, because I've had failures the past few years, and for the amount of distance that's out there on those, and a lot of it's due to water, because like I say, with the line break and not seeing it, that really created a situation through our drought to where they didn't do as good. But anyway, that'll be another video. I hope you enjoyed this. Those of you that are in the real cold climate, I know your garden season's kind of shut down, but you like to see stuff growing. And those of you that's in the south know that there's a lot of stuff that we can still grow. We're supposed to have what they say a milder winter. So far it's looking like, so we'll see what the outlook looks more in January and February. But this is where we're sitting. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you want to see more content like this, of course, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all. And of course, give it a big thumbs up and share this video. It really helps my channel. Enjoy that gardening experience.